Hey Aquarius, this is your bi-weekly reading. So we are looking at the, I'm feeling that one. We are looking at the period of time, interesting. We're looking at the period of time from the new moon that is in Sagittarius in tropical astrology, but it is on December 12th. And then we are taking that to the full moon, which is happening on December 26th. So if you celebrate Christmas, it'll be just after the Christmas holiday so that it is taking us up to. And I'm feeling the second card right here. All right. Oh, cool. I like it. I like it, Aquarius. Okay, forgive the lighting. I had to schedule my filming at this time, and it's it makes my nice black velvet cloth look gray. So I apologize for that. So anyway, so this is the period of time that we're looking at, right? This is the waxing phase of the moon. So no matter what's happening with the astrology, even if the astrology is quote unquote not great, right? Like we know that the moon has this kind of effect, this pull, this effect that we can see outwardly, feel internally for humans on Earth, right? And so there is this building energy that is unavoidable. It happens clockwork. That's what's going on. So in this waxing phase, when people talk about setting intentions and planting seeds and all this stuff, we are looking at like, what can we work towards building energy and momentum with that is going to, if we put our time, energy, and attention into, be of most benefit for all areas of our life. Putting some time, energy, and attention to this would be benefit. So like, it's like the linchpin that we're looking at, right? At least that's what I do these readings for. That's how I do these readings. So that's what we're looking at here. And the area of life that's coming up for you is the 12th house, right? It's come up for a few signs today, actually, I think 3 or 4 signs. So, but we're looking at the 12th house. Now, this is a house of, it's a very internal house. It's a very solitary, not in a negative sense, but like it is a very solitary house. It's very private, right? It's very like spending time alone, which of course can tip into loneliness depending on who you are and what your circumstances are. But this is about your mental health, your emotional health, right? The areas of our psyche that are sometimes not really given the, fair time and attention that is the most beneficial for our lives, right? Things we tend to sweep to the side and say, I'll deal with that some other time, right? So, and it also has to do with altered states of consciousness, like meditation or like medicine journeys, things of that nature, things that are like, help us reach those kind of existential, like not existential, but those other states of consciousness that have us feel into more of like the universe or the collective or the oneness that exists there. And this is not for me to say like some kumbaya kind of like moment here. It's just more like, hey, these internal areas of our life, the internal landscape of ourselves need to have, maintenance and health and be swept up also. And so there, I think, is a real benefit and a lot of power and strength in taking this time to carve out time to ourselves. Now, I'm saying this completely aware that there are a lot of people celebrating Christmas and with the holidays and holiday parties, and if you have family and if you're traveling to see them and like have partners and like them and all the stuff, that this can feel like a very hectic buildup towards this period of time, especially like this 2-week period of time. So I would say, do to the best of your ability, find time to go on walks in nature or outside at least, or like, everyone goes to sleep, you spend 10 minutes, lock your bathroom door and journal or meditate or feel into your feelings, do the kind of review and maintenance. And speaking of that, I think there are 2 factors that I think make all of the readings that I'm doing for this particular 2-week period of time like even more relevant to this whole like building energy, right? This new moon is going to be happening at 3:32 p.m. Pacific time, so adjust for your time zone. But a few hours later, we will have Mercury go retrograde. Now, this is, I'm not an alarmist with Mercury retrograde. Like, I think people blow it way out of proportion. And so therefore now we're at a point where people just like roll their eyes when they hear Mercury retrograde, but it still is relevant. It may not be the sky is falling, but it's still here for a reason. And I like this happening so close to the new moon. I feel like this is even more so saying like, hey, this is a time to, you know, all the re's is what I call them, right? It's like to review, revise all of the things in this particular area of your life, right? Not only that, but this is a time of year where, you know, even if you don't necessarily relate to the Gregorian calendar, and you're like, oh no, winter solstice is like my new year, or, you know, spring equinox is like my new year. But there is this collective turning of the page that happens at the end of every year, for, you know, Western type cultures. And so there is this period of review where, you know, whether we see it exactly that way or not, there is this kind of looking back over like 2023 as a number year. How has that gone? What are the things that have occurred? And how do I feel about that now? Like, how do I feel? What are my thoughts about that? What are my beliefs about that? How has that shifted me as a person at this point? And how does that maybe impact or color the way that I would like to move forward into this next calendar year? Or just even if it's not about the calendar year, like what I would like to happen next, right? It's just a time where we come into a place of review. Certainly if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, it can feel like because it's winter, there's more even that internal feeling a little bit more so. But even if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, I think that it's still like that calendar year part, you know, plus the Mercury retrograde. So, you know, revising, revisiting, reviewing, all the things like that, I think is a really good time to, and you might be saying like, well, how does that actually relate to building energy for a 2-week period of time? And it's like, well, when we have the opportunity to take that time to get that clarity, to be more grounded and present in ourselves, to be more clear about how we feel, what we think, what's going on internally for us, and how that informs us going forward, I think we can move forward with more clarity. And I think that does build, maybe it feels subtle in terms of momentum, but I think it builds something with a different kind of quality going forward when we're able to do that, more agency with that kind of clarity that we get. And with that, I really love that you have the Two of Wands that is showing up with this as the guidance that's coming through, right? It's like there are so many possibilities, more than maybe you might be acknowledging, and so many ways to get creative about the possibilities that lie before us. Like the world is your oyster, right? Like you can survey the world, and which path feels the most inspiring, feels the most like, and the adventure that you would like to be taking next, right? And allowing this kind of review and visiting and doing the internal sweeping, right, of this area and visiting this, like, to inform how you're going to maybe be choosing the path that you're choosing to go on next. So I hope that this has felt really helpful. If it has, please give the video a like. It really does help me. If you're wanting to book the year ahead readings with me, the links are down below. So for the tarot readings, that's like going through each month and really looking at what is the theme, like the main themes that are coming up each month. So doing a roundabout with that. And then we have the Astrology 2024 readings where, yes, we can look at like, what is the main focus of this year? What's really coming up for this year for you? Some important points to be aware of. And if you really want to zoom in on your planning for 2024, we can really focus in on the first 3 months, you know, like the first quarter of the year, or the second, like first 2 quarters of the year. So just put that in the notes when you go through the booking process, if you want to do that with your booking. And we can combine both. So if you're like, I want to do both, just put that in the notes too. We can certainly talk about that. So I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, if you're wanting to make sure that you get in with your appointment before the end of January, I would highly, highly recommend doing that soon, just because, like, for planning purposes, but also I have limited spots for that. So I think that's everything. I hope this was helpful. If it was, thanks for being here. Please share it with somebody else, share it with another Aquarius, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.